They made me take off my wedding ring. I've been married 25 years. I never take off my wedding ring. I had to take off my ring. I had to roll up my sleeves. And I had to wash my hands and my arms in antibacterial soap. I was at the entrance of the NICU, the neonatal intensive care unit at a major hospital. It was 6:30 a.m. You see, this was the first day of a new computer system that was going to be used throughout the hospital. And the system is called CPOE, which stands for Computerized Physician Order Entry. Now, you've watched the dramas, the hospital dramas on TV, right? And you see the doctor bark an order, and then the nurse gives the drug to the patient. Well, CPOE represents a major change. Rather than barking an order, now the physician is responsible for actually entering the order for that drug into the computer. Massive change. That's when I get involved. All the work had been done. And that first week, my job was going to be to visit all of the different areas and observe, as well as just provide any help that I might be able to provide. And my first stop was going to be in the NICU. As I entered the NICU, so did a little baby, born just moments ago. He was in an incubator. Now, babies don't go to the NICU unless there's something wrong. Something was seriously wrong. Now, I call him little baby boy because he didn't have a name yet. Around the incubator is a physician assistant, and 2 nurses. Now, if you're not familiar, a physician assistant is an increasingly important piece of the healthcare equation. They can prescribe medications, and really, in most all cases, they can do everything that an MD can do. The team jumped to action to provide care for this little baby boy. They wheeled up a WOW. A WOW is a workstation on wheels. Originally, it was referred to as a cow, a computer on wheels. But there was a lawsuit. A patient had a little trouble and was a little offended when somebody yelled, "Hey, move that cow out of the hallway." Right? Every few seconds, the nurse calls out an enzyme level and the doctor orders something. Every few seconds, enzyme level drug, enzyme level drug. This team is fighting to save this little boy. The physician assistant is working at the WOW, trying really hard to keep up with the pace of these orders. She's having trouble. The nurse wheels up a second WOW, and the system locks up. Just then, Mom is wheeled into the NICU, and Dad's with her. And they're introduced to a neurosurgeon who explains that in a few minutes, he's going to take their brand new baby boy and operate on his brain. The parents are just in shock, right? You can imagine what it's like to get that kind of news. The team continues to work feverishly. They're trying to get this done. Obviously, they're trying to save this baby's life. The system locks up. They're very frustrated. All they care about is saving this baby's life. I stood up at that point, and I put my hand on the shoulder of the physician assistant, and I whispered, "Stop. Just work. Don't worry about the computer." You see, the system wasn't designed for 2 people to enter orders for 1 patient at the same time. So much of what's written and taught about change is of the kumbaya, who moved my cheese variety. And that part of it's important, I guess, right? But real change leadership happens in the details. Whose fault do you think it is that those caregivers that morning hate change? My change process calls for customizing in each area, spending time in each area, and ensuring that each of the staff members is ready to do their jobs. We should have actually looked at each unit and its uniqueness. We didn't. I fought the battle with my client, and I lost. There aren't enough resources. We don't have enough time. You know how this goes, right? What if we had done the right thing? What if we had come up with something that needed to be done in the NICU and actually made it work in the NICU? What if we had contemplated the problem with them and solved the problem together? What if we had done the right thing, what I know we should have done? Leading change is just too hard. Doing the right thing is too hard. We settle. That little baby boy had a major impact on my life. I know what we do is important. We only lead organizational change, but we do have an effect on people's lives. And sometimes that effect is actually life or death. I don't win all the arguments with client executives, but I promise you that my arguments are just a little bit more passionate because of what happened that morning. See, that morning caused me to revisit my purpose. And that's why we created Constituent Hub. We're making change easier. We're changing the way we lead change. Every step of the way, every hurdle, every problem is overcome because of that little baby in that NICU that morning. We should revisit our purpose more often than we do. Don't you think?